The conflict in Ukraine provides a focal point for deconstructing media flows and their intersection with how we perceive history. This event shows both quantitative and qualitative shifts in the processing of information. By delineating the contested space between mass media and social media, a broader narrative evolves. The breakup of the Soviet Union was a convoluted process which left acrimony and distrust in its wake. After 1991, the USSR broke into 15 separate nations, with many border conflicts arising from simmering tensions long suppressed under the communist government. Ukraine lies at the crossroads of two continents. The nation represents a fulcrum point between cultures and competing geopolitical systems. The years 1994 and 2015 marked shifts in Ukrainian sentiment, turning decisively to the West. Though social media coverage of conflict isn't new, the war in Ukraine marks both a quantitative and qualitative shift in our mediatized understanding of conflict. Russia's invasion was met with an unprecedented swarm of media influencers and commentators alike. The mediatization of conflict presents us with three primary issues: a shift in the amount of data concerning the event, the visual processing problems of context and indexicality, and finally, a change in the presentation and control of this information. The violence unfolds on the panoply of social media apps every minute, yet two apps center the global digital discourse. TikTok, already an immensely popular social media application, saw a rapid surge in content at the outset of the war. Facebook likewise became an unequivocal leader in social media representation of the war. This war takes place simultaneously in reality and the virtual confines of the internet. Context collapse. Context seldom stays isolated and self-contained online. We've all experienced varying degrees of context collapse, from misstatements in chat rooms or embarrassing photos that somehow proliferate outside one's chosen audience. The war in Ukraine is a mostly visual one. Images from the battleground matriculate into daily news feeds, social media apps, and eventually to mass media programs. The same distortion of events which occurs in a personal Facebook account also occurs with eyewitness reports from Ukraine. Context collapse stems from issues of indexicality. War reporting through visual content lacks a fundamental indexical nature. They speak to the emotional state of things, but their context is often tenuous. They do not convey an entire story in themselves. Online, images speak 1,000 words, and those words are spoken by millions of voices. The rise of influencers and the nature of social media's gratification and uses model can lead to the overt manipulation of the image online. What does all this mean to the quality of information we process as observers? Well, Ukraine is indicative of ruptures between reality and the prominence of the virtual. News agencies like the BBC, MSNBC, or Fox now employ presentations to 1. Re-territorialize or contain information, 2. Parse information in particular packets for diverse audiences, or 3. Address the significance of the widening virtual realm. As these graphs from visualcapitalist.org show, the dogma of the influencer will only grow in the coming future. As younger and older generations alike deploy social media as a primary information resource, historians, journalists, and media observers must fight to contain unbridled and unregulated information flows. The public must also alter their perception of information. Polar discourses are now oceans of spectatorial prescience, as the consequences of history are increasingly determined by the polyvocal and uncertain virtual realm. We can arm ourselves with heuristics based on fact-seeking and media literacy. In the end, the victims of conflict deserve truth.